Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, good time of day, whatever it may be for you. Welcome back to the LAMDA log. This is week 9, day 1, Monday, the 16th of March, 2026. Jumping straight into it. This is the penultimate skills week. Skills week. So next week, week 10 will be the last of skills week, and then week 11 will be projects week. So we're getting into it. So we started with our warm-up in John Lyon EO3, and I helped out a student with some combat, and I ran my speech for George's class over and over again in my head and a little bit in warm-ups. Not even just in my head, but verbally as I was walking to school. Then I went to George's class, and since it was our second to last day, like our penultimate day, we all got in a circle in the order that we're going to present our speeches, and then we got up and we did it, and then we all went just as if we were performing, and then we received some feedback at the end. So it was also timed, which was important because the last time I did it, I was at 4 minutes, 40 seconds, I think. And so I was so I cut some, and I needed to see how it was going. And then there was great power in natural hand gestures. I just noticed that from some people. They were really kind of in their bodies, and that was nice. I wish I brought more of that. Because when I presented, I was just a little more I'm going to get the time right, and I'm not going to mess up my words, and I'm going to have a decent pace, which was 3 things I did not do well last week. So most people called line a time or 2, which was really kind of easing because I was worried that I might call line or that I didn't have it as memorized as I thought I did, because that's what happened last week. But I was dead smack in the middle, and so a few people called line, even people who had it really well. And so I was okay, that's fine. I can call line, and that's whatever. So we've got this. We've got a giant workload at the moment, and especially things to memorize. I just thought of 6 things that we're memorizing just kind of off the top of our head. We have our projects that we're memorizing. We have Brittany's scene study classes, the Hedda Gabler, which we did today. We have embodiment that we're memorizing. We have our screen scenes that we're memorizing for our self-tapes. We have our speeches for this class, and then any songs we're working on, and then any other things that are individual. Just there's a lot that we're memorizing constantly, which is so good for me and so helpful. I'm really glad that I'm doing that. I want to keep that up. I feel like I get a little soft during the break, so when I go home this April, I'm gonna work on continually memorizing some things, and I'm gonna working on my thesis and my project. Don't mind me. But so if you start feeling things slip, take a breath, recenter. You know this. Go back. I called for line once, going into the we need to enter an era, which is a cut spot. After we all finished, I asked George what my time was, and I was at 3 minutes and 8 seconds. He said that was fine. I was yeah, I did it. I cut 1 minute and 32 seconds off of it. So, not bad. I need to have more confidence, and I can get more passionate and really get the audience involved. If someone starts to step out after a content warning, there's just a technical note, wait for them to leave and then begin your speech. Reclaim, this is just a great line from someone's speech, that it was reclaim the radical act of dreaming. I love that. Reclaim the radical act of dreaming. Chef's gifts. There's still so much to learn and apply from these experiences. We can use this time to solidify and personalize it, right? So use the actual time of working it in class and the time afterwards. We had a little potty break for everyone before individual notes, and that's where I found out that I was at 3 minutes and 8 seconds. Then for kind of the individualized notes, there were some generals, and then I wrote down some specifics for people, and then I wrote down mine as well. So for me, bring a physicality and a bodied quality to my performance. That was a personal note from myself to myself. Then general, it's okay to seem practiced because then it seems like we've considered and honored the audience's time. Generally, start with higher energy and find the variation without devoicing or taking your foot off the gas. Are there moments that warrant silence? And can you sit in the uncomfortability of that? But don't do it for too long and don't be indulgent. Spread your attention with the whole group, right? Don't get stuck on one spot. Then some individuals for people that I think are also good generals. And then some generals scattered in there. But don't loom over. It's never too late to pull up. Like if you turn to the person to your side and you're like, I'm looming. I can straighten up and step back a bit. That's totally fine. If you're over 3 minutes, cut. We're at a point that we need to just clean these up. Taking people who are making noise, like if they are agreeing with you or making noise or whatever, just kind of like acknowledge them and take that in. Think about lengthening so not to like lean into or come into the audience, and think of lengthening and bringing the audience to you. Breathe. Cut a sentence or two so you have the time to breathe. It's not always a hammer. Sometimes it's a hug. That was a general one. We're not always just like hammering down our thoughts, and it's not always aggressive. Sometimes it's a hug and it's warm and helpful. Hold in your mind that there is a solution and you're the one that got it. And you've got it. Yeah. And you're the one who has it. Because then it's not all doom and gloom. It's like, hey, but I got something for you. Make sure to keep the antitheses together with the same person. That it's like this and that kind of a thing. So that rhetoric device isn't lost. Watch your stance. Keep your body relaxed and comfortable. So not too rigid, but not too rigid on either way. Not collapsed, but relaxed. Work those quadrants. Don't work the dials of the clock, right? Don't just go, and you, and you, and you, and you. Go boom, and 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 boom. You know. My specific notes directly towards me from George. Bigger energy at the top. This is important. Lean into that. Good job working the quadrants and good landing the thoughts. Build to the controversy. Mine's so political. I think my speech is maybe the worst one. It's not like bad. It's just very soft, and it's political, and it's almost bipartisan. It is bipartisan. It's very politician-y in that sense. So kind of build to that radical idea of talking to each other and being decent to each other. Where is that controversy and what is it about? It's the act of working together and being united. Some more general, startle people, wake them up, right? And then someone got the note to channel Harold Hill from The Music Man to bring the energy up at the beginning. It's like, oh, there's trouble right here in River City. And it starts with P. Trouble. It starts with T and rhymes with P and stands for pool. We got trouble. Right? Kind of sell them on it. Use the audience's comments. Feel and acknowledge them. Watch your volume. Don't drop it at the horrific moments. Get bigger. Don't let us off easy. Sustaining the energy voicing connection is draining. Work to sustain it. There was this part where it felt like when you're dropping for a specific person, when you're dropping facts and when you're really delivering something, school them, educate them, right? Include your flanks, both sides. Boom, boom. You can. Oh, somebody's doing a speech by Malcolm X, and he's like, you can lean into his prosody, right? The way and the rhythm and the musicality of the way he speaks. Like, how would he say that? And it's okay to kind of lock into that. Drive the statistics more and bring them to a lather, build them up. Okay. A technical thing. We will not be timed. We will be filmed by George, but then it will be deleted afterwards. It just helps him do the grading. Don't collapse. It's important. Um, the speech is important and it's costly, but that doesn't collapse. Don't lose the power and drive. For performance, we won't faff around with our chairs. We'll just stand next to them. So it seems like we'll be doing it in just a room. And then we will get up and stand by our chairs, like I just said. And then we're practically getting up and delivering our first line from our seats. Like, oh, we practiced getting up and delivering our first lines from like where we were sitting. So we got up, we moved over, we delivered our first lines. And I was told to really like surprise someone and bring in that energy and be like, oh, also my beginning is a little different now. Yeah. So it's just, well, I'll get to that. I'm jumping ahead of myself. But speak like you know what you're talking about and ask the questions that you're asking. Somebody was asked to do it like Margaret Thatcher, right? Really convincing, really determined in her ways. Startle someone. Don't breathe in and hold before beginning. See the person. Let them be the inspiration of the breath and thought. Laser in. So I'm instead of saying it's an honor to rise here for a few minutes. It's an honor to rise for a few minutes here, Mr. Speaker, to address this House for the final time as a sitting member of Congress. I'm just going to say, I address this House for the final time as a sitting member of Congress. And that gets to my point a little bit. It's not like, thanks, I'm happy to be here kind of a thing. Colorize the meaty, important parts of long sentences. Right? If you start off right, you will keep that energy and have a good performance. Homework? Have the speech ready for next week. Then we had lunch. Then we had masks with Heriberto. We walked the space. We paired up. I was with there was someone in our cohort who was it was her birthday, and we sang happy birthday in warm-ups. We sang happy birthday in every class, and I think maybe twice in one class. It was so fun, and I was paired up with her, and it was delightful. So we were walking the space, and then we just started walking next to each other, and then we tried to like trick each other. We like rolled on the floor, so that we were just like in tune with each other and paying attention. And then we had a nice little massage moment, so that we massaged each other's shoulders, and then one of the person receiving the massage kind of bent over, and then we massaged their backs, pushing the tension away from their spine and away from their body. And then we embodied the 7 deadly sins, which are, because I always forget, greed, envy, wrath, sloth, lust, pride, gluttony. So he would just be like, yeah, do this one. And then how does that make you feel? And push it to the extremes. And really, really amplify it, right? He says we've lost something as we've focused on natural realism all the time. And you want to be authentic and you want to be real, but you don't want to lose the largeness, you know, and the commitment. So we discussed it. We changed our levels and positions. We focused on the opposites. Like, how do you do greed in like a positive way or a negative way? Yeah, we tried to change the tempo, and there are similarities between a lot of them. But where can you find the differences as well, and how can you sit in those, and how can you distinguish it? How can we internalize the sins? What center can we put it into? Right, like we did with Anna Barkin, our thinking center, our feeling center, our willing center. How do you change with that. And there is a twist to envy, this hunchiness, this I don't want to look, but I'm looking over my shoulder and it's in there, right? And then there's this hunched greed and to gluttony as you're bringing it into yourself. And so there's these kind of archetypal just set things. We don't want to illustrate. We want to play with the amplification. Heriberto doesn't like the word exaggerate because it feels big on the outside and small on the inside. But that's why he likes the word amplify. Observe the breath, right? How do you breathe differently, right? And how does that make you feel and act differently? And how do you create a 3D character? It's more than just on the line. How do they breathe and respond when speaking? Meaning on the line that a lot of time actors will just kind of be there, neutral, and then their line they'll be like, I'm so upset, and kind of pause, whatever. So then we lined up and we walked the diagonal space of the studio, embodying one of the sins. And I did gluttony, and I was just like gorging myself. And then Ari was like coaching us and talking us through it. He's like, what is that? What are you eating? I'm like, ice cream. And I'm just like shoveling it and taking it in. And then he's like, I have soft serve. And I was like, it's kind of gross. And then he's like, oh, there's more here. And he's like, oh, I have more. And it was just that disgusting. It's not even overindulgence. It's past that. It's this just gluttony. It's this insatiable desire to just bring everything into you as you know it's hurting you. Anyway, that's fun. We physicalize the feeling. We embody it completely. Feelings are huge, and they push the body so far forward. So the things that other people did is we had greed and envy, sloth and wrath. Another envy, pride, lust, greed, gluttony, sloth, pride, lust, wrath. Yeah, so we had a good little representation of most of them. The sloths were so funny because, excuse me, because it's just that teenager doesn't want to get out of bed, and it's a lot on the floor. It's just really funny. And then somebody got up and re-embodied pride, which was their choice, and they did a mask. And let me show you this mask without showing you all the names. But the mask looked kind of like that, right, at this very large nose. So great. Great interaction with the audience, and started playing with the extreme opposites from this perfect, glorious king with pride to the worst tiny seafloor wretch. And it's like, oh, you've done it. Oh, how wonderful am I? Yeah, I got muscles. To like, oh, they trip, and it's like, oh, or they have to show some of their belly, and like, right? And then like those extremes of super secure versus extremely insecure. And then what happens to the body when we amplify these inside feelings? It's easier to create it outside and then edit it to the appropriate style. Play with the text, pushing opposites and seeing how far you can manipulate any words. There's so much to explore and find in every word and every character. And then we had our 30-minute break. And then we had scene study. Oh, we're cooking. Oh, this will not be too long of a bit. Well, yeah, this shouldn't be too bad. Yeah. I did not fill up my water bottle this morning, but hey, shout out to Sandridge. So, scene study with Brittany. This was our Hedda Gabler. I always want to say gobbler when I'm reading it. But if I'm just talking about it, I say Hedda Gabler because I'm smarter than that. But it was the Hedda Gabler and Brock scene. So, quote to start. The quote or the lesson to start before we began. Brittany said, find lightness and humor in the text. So two people went first, and it was very flirtatious and very kind of easy and ha 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 ha. So how do you flirt as Brock without being creepy and allowing Hedda to kind of lead it? I feel like Hedda, there should at least be an equal level of power dynamic here, but I feel like Hedda has more control. And then how do you solve the problem of the gun, right? Brittany's always about focusing on, okay, what problems are in the script and how do you deal with them? You need to solve it about where do you get it, where do you put it, how is it taken away from Hedda, and why does Hedda give it up? And then what is their flirting game? How do they flirt with each other, thinking about time period, class, culture, style? Don't be too obvious. Hedda should be better at the game. Play against the flirting, but it's inevitable, right? Where are we? Where does the scene take place? Who is comfortable in the place and how much? Then they ran it again with those thoughts in mind. And then what is the relationship with each other? That should be a question mark and not a period. It feels like a relationship where like a boy's, to me it feels a little bit like this relationship where like a boy's friend like flirts with his mom. Like nothing's gonna happen, but like if it did, that'd be cool. But it's just in the boy's perspective. But it's just this like kind of harmless fun, just well, you look beautiful, Mrs. Smith. It's like, wow, is that a new dress? Did you get your hair done? Kind of those little things. But once you give up what your game is, then you've surrendered your power. So like, don't lean into it too much. Just play it coyly, and then hide or cover the flirt. And then it's more active. Look for the moments of transition and find the moments of silence when things can be happening non-verbally. Then the next two went, and they had the same discussion of solve the pistol, because the second group is out in the hall as the first group goes, so they miss all the first notes. And then getting caught in the upstage space, bring it downstage. Don't devoice, project, right? We're working on so many different things at a time, and so we're working on film and screen, which is so, like, I can talk like this, and I can have these more intimate, easy conversations, and it can just be like that. Whereas on stage, you need to project, and I would project louder if it weren't 6:18 in the morning. Find the balance between the public space versus the private space, right? This is like the foyer of Hedda's house, like the receiving room, but there's like maids and people could walk by, so you can't just say anything or do anything. There's still always the chance that things could be overheard and shared, or anyone could walk in, right? And they shouldn't suspect anything's going on. You want to maintain the plausible deniability. Do they enjoy each other's company? It could be different for each, but there is an enjoyment of this relationship and the sleaze of it. It's fun, especially for Hedda, who was just on a 6-month honeymoon that was incredibly boring for her. There's no one to talk to about her things and their social circles, and they just went to libraries and museums and things all the time. It's very academic, and she was like, ugh. So like, this is exciting, and it's something. So we need to play against the boredom. Why is she here right now? What does she want right now? And he's still aware of whose house he's in. Make his objectives a little harder to achieve. And then you want to maintain the plausible deniability of their actions, right? Then they went again and find more clarity of intention instead of falling into the trap of speaking in a general vibe, right? What are they trying to do to each other? Always have that answer. Then the next group went, and they clarified the first moment, and then the audience, if you clarify the first moment, then the audience will just buy into it, right? Yeah. And then vocally use the words more, right? Speak clearly and take up space vocally. The words are your tools to get your intentions across. They're not an obstacle that are keeping you from something. But what is happening in the silence? What are they doing? Setting the trap in the silence. That can be active, kind of like setting the ploy and that flirtation. We need clarity about if Hedda is the type of girl or not who would do stuff. Because there's a line that says, why not jump outside and stretch your legs a little, Mrs. Hedda? And that's talking about, like, why don't you, like, see what's going on? Why don't you have an affair with me or whatever? And then she's like, I'm not the jumping sort. And he's like, aren't you? You sure? Right? Is she? That's the question. But in the script, it talks a lot that she does not want scandal. She does not like scandal. So lean into the to the flavor of this is the best day of my life, and keep searching for that way. And that was for Hedda, and then searching for that way of keep searching for the way in, and then once Brock gets in, it's the best day of his life too. And so then they went again, and what if they played it physically as much as they were playing with intention? And everything is an opportunity when you have clarity in what you want. There is never just an exchange of information. These plays are better written than that. So what are they trying to do to each other? Then the next group went, and great clarity with the gun at the beginning, so that it wasn't an issue, and then they move forward. And then there's this moment where the guy playing Brock pulled his chair forward, and then the girl doing Hedda pulled her chair forward and fixed the problem. But Brittany was like, "What was that, an actor thing, or was there a purpose behind it?" He's like, "It's an actor thing." And then he's like, "Why am I doing this? I don't know." And so I think he was just trying to make sure he was downstage and it was something to do. And then what if you want to murder the other person and make love to them at the same time? How does that, like, duality exist? And there's a little more of a political game here, right? Play the room, play the game, but don't show how you feel about it. And those are two kind of ways of approaching the same thing. The other things going on between them is interesting. Sure. And then air is added into it, and we need to find when to remove it, right? That space, those silences, those pauses, and when to keep it. Then I went out in the hall with my partner, and I was worried about these lines. They just weren't sticking totally. And so I mixed a group, but our notes were to find the way to attack with the words. Use some of Hedda's tactics. It's like that cat claws versus warmth. My Brock was very warm, and Hedda's was more like that cat claw. And so how can I use her cat claw moments, and when do I try to offend her or try to make things difficult? And then deal with the other character, don't avoid them. And then another group went again. This was the penultimate. What does yes exactly mean? Which is the last line. And it's like, I'm not the jumping short. And then she's like, yeah, there's always someone who looks at one's legs. And she says, yes, exactly. What does that mean? Right? You got to kind of solve that line. And then with the script like this, everything is a hint. What does everything mean? What if they're both doing a push, kind of like one of those psychological gestures of a push the entire time? What if they feel the other character pushing back too? And because this feels like 3 chunks, you have to do the work to find the through line for the characters and their relationships. Look for moments to let the mask slip, knowing that inner life is constantly there. Now we know what's going on, and seeing the obviousness of it, let's now infuse the layered side of it so that anyone walking by wouldn't suspect anything, like that secret side. And then the last group went, and there was an unsolved line that nobody really addressed, and it was the after Brack takes the gun away from Hedda, because Hedda shoots the gun at him just in his direction, and then he's like, "Ah, yes, I know this old friend well." And then Hedda is Hedda is a loaded gun, and this kind of reveals his familiarity with Hedda and with things. It tells you what you need to know about the character, so don't pass this line by. It's important. And what if this were more public, right? What if there were people passing through and moving all the time? They're in a drawing room where lots of servants walk by, and anyone could listen or hear anything. How hard is it to navigate? Lean more into the subtext because of the the potential of the space. The privacy is in the character as a secret. Don't let the other character or the space in on the secret. Deal with the gun, then deal with the next line, right? Use the transition. Don't worry about recreating what you did before. In the right direction. Oh, it's in the right direction, and they can push it even more. And then don't let yourself be hypnotized by the other character. Stay specific, stay intentioned. And then think more about your obstacles and allow for your characters to have secrets and don't work out through their tactics, right? Have secrets. Homework is to choose one of the 6 scenes, because one of the 3 we did, All My Sons, Top Girls, or Hedda Gabler. And then those are the 3 scenes we've already done, and then Brittany's going to add 3 more from those plays. So a second All My Sons scene, a second Hedda Gabler scene, a second Top Girl scene. And then choose one of those 6 ones, bring a clean printed sheet, because that's where notes will be taken. And then that was it. And then I had my music presentation class, which I always forget about. And so I need, so I was like, well, during this time, I'll print off a song and I'll do something I've sung before. So I was like, oh, I'll just do Freeze Your Brain from Heather's. I haven't really worked on that song ever. Not that we ever work on songs in that class. We just sing it through. And then it's like, okay, yeah, this could work for that. Or how would you like to cut it? I'm not using these classes very well. This is a class I should use to work and clean up my book. And I'm not doing it because I always forget about it. But we had people saying, what you gonna do when it all falls down from Chaplin. And then I Need a Hero, which was fun. And then this French song, which was cool. And then I forgot what that person sang. And then I sang Freeze Your Brain. So it was chill. And that was the day. So I hope you have a wonderful time. Happy life. And I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.